Okay, good afternoon guys, and today is the 18th of May 2022. It is just coming up to 1:30 p.m. here in the UK. So I'm just going to do the usual checks, make sure the audio and video are working. Just bear with me a second. Yeah, everything seems to be working okay. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you've had a nice beginning of the week. And so let's just crack on. We're starting off with the crypto heat map, and you can see that the great majority of it is in the red. Nothing really new there. We're just kind of sort of like rotating sideways. Anyway, a few exceptions: Shiba and Ape and H bar. I don't even know what that is. There's a few coins that are up. Luna USD is up 3% today. Fuck knows why, but anyway, yeah, it's just it's all just looking pretty bearish, to be honest. In the stock market, the opposite is true. Everything's looking quite bullish. Everything's pumping at 2-3%, which is quite a lot, really. So generally speaking, with a few exceptions, everything's pumping apart from fucking McDonald's. So you're fucked, because even if you can't make it in crypto, McDonald's won't be hiring if they're down either. So anyway, moving on, joking aside, moving on, we're going to Deribit. We're looking at the options. The option expiry for the month of May is on the 27th, last Friday of the month. Max pain price is basically where it's the price at which most of these options, calls, and puts will expire worthless. And that's 35 grand. And like I keep saying, sometimes it's a bit of a meme, but sometimes this acts like a bit of a magnet. And the price tends to gravitate towards that max pain price as we approach the end of the month. As we are only on the 18th, there's only like 9 days away. So it's quite close already. So let's see if we can break it to 35,000. But as you can see here, the volatility is still quite high, even though we've kind of calmed down in the last few days. But this is clearly a result of what happened on the 9th and 10th of May. Of course, and the notional value for this is $1.5 billion, which, you know, in comparison to other months, it's not really that much, but it's still a significant amount of money. Yeah, I think the June ones are going to be important. As you can see here, we've got plenty of calls on the June one, so significantly more interest, if you like, on that one. The open interest keeps going up and down. It's up at the moment, but yeah, that's all I've got to say about options, really. Moving on to the charts, let's have an overview and start off with the S&P and the Nasdaq. So the S&P here, as you can see, we've got a 3-day chart above, just so that I can sort of like show you basically what's been happening since 2020, since the March 2020 COVID dump. Right, which has been up only. We've kind of like tested both sides. We're kind of above the 2021 VWAP standard deviation, the value area high. Once we've broken inside, we've visited the other side of it now, and we've tried now, I'll make this a little bit bigger, we've tried now to kind of break this resistance. I've got it highlighted here in red. Break this resistance, and it seems like we're kind of got rejected, and then we got rejected off of this low volume node, or the edge of this high volume cluster here, as you can see here, right? So I'm talking about this one here, and we got rejected there, and it's going back up again. So we're kind of rotating inside of here until we break to either side. So it's anyone's guess. Obviously, if we break above resistance, which is highlighted here in red, then that's a good sign, obviously, because Bitcoin is closely correlated to these assets. So if we break to the upside, then it's positive for crypto and obviously for this index. But if we cannot break above it and we get rejected yet again and come back to the lows, then we'll have to wait and see what happens here. Acceptance below here, right, and then confirming that this is indeed resistance means that we're almost certainly visiting the other side at around about 3,600. Okay, right about down here. So on the smaller time frames, you can see here, this is the 1 hour chart on the bottom left. This is still the S&P, by the way. You can see that we're kind of toying with the idea. We're below the daily VWAP. We're still above the weekly VWAP, but we're toying with the idea of like trying to sort of break above that resistance, but we've also not broken that support there. You know, this visual here that you can see here on the right, the volume profile, it's only relevant because it's the visible range. But really, I want you to pay attention to this yellow and red line, which is basically these lines here. Okay, so that's kind of like where we are. Right now we're kind of in between the two lines, and here we are. So we either rotate sideways for a while until, well, that's basically what's going to happen. We rotate sideways until we break to either side. Breaking up is bullish, breaking down is bearish. On the Nasdaq, very much the same scenario. I've got 3 lines here instead, and the reason for that, as you can see here, is basically low volume nodes that are highlighting here. So we bounced on the lower support here, which I've got highlighted in blue, right, which is this low volume node here, this one here, right, and then we've managed to get above the yellow line, which is also a line of support and another low volume node, but we failed to get acceptance inside of this distribution here, which is a double distribution type thing, right? So we failed to get acceptance there. We kind of got rejected. It also has confluence with the value area low of the quarterly VWAP there, as you can see there, right? So we failed to get acceptance above, and again it's the same scenario, right? We get acceptance above here. This almost certainly means that we get a relief bounce, at least to here, perhaps even as far as this one here. Okay, so it really depends, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Obviously, getting rejected here and getting accepted below means that we could potentially, especially if we lose this support here, means that we could potentially see a visit to the 10k, lower 10k, to these 2 levels here. All right, so on the lower time frames, you guys can see that I've got, like, basically it forms 2 ranges, if you like. So we've got a high volume node inside of this one, right? We're still being rejected from this monthly VWAP here, and so it depends. It's very close to resistance. Again, it depends. So if we can break above this, then we've got a very good chance of going up and further up. If we cannot break above that, then this should act as a little bit of support here. It's the value area low of the monthly VWAP. Also has confluence with that low volume node here that got highlighted in yellow, and then failing that, of course, we go all the way down here. There's no more meetings. There's no more sort of expected volatility for the rest of this week, at least not that I'm aware, according to the Forex calendar. So I think that we might just crab here for a while until everybody starts losing their interest. So anyway, that's what I'm seeing here on the traditional markets. And again, the only reason I'm showing you this is because of the close correlation with Bitcoin. Okay, so speaking of the devil, let's move on to Bitcoin. And we start off, I'm going to change it onto the Bybit chart here. I usually chart the Coinbase chart, but I'm just looking at Bybit here just because it just seems to have cleaner levels when it comes to the VWAPs and stuff. But it's really no different from the Coinbase. It's really not that different at all. But I'll just do this because I've got some levels here that I've highlighted. So first of all, let's start with the daily levels. You can see here on the lower time frame that we've kind of we're bouncing on this daily level. This is a daily close that goes all the way back to July 2021. Okay, we haven't been this low since. So apart from the daily closes below from yesterday, I haven't updated my charts. This is an important daily level, and as you can see, it is being respected right now. Okay. Additionally, we've also got a weekly level. I'm going to put this a little bit bigger here. All the way up at 31,700. This is the level that for me is the line in the sand really for the bulls and the bears, right? So basically, even if we come all the way up here but fail to get above this, like maybe sort of like range above or tap above like this, and then do a swing failure pattern, come back below it, for me that's an entry for a short, and I'll be targeting new lows. If however we do break above this with conviction, for me that's a long signal, and I'll be happy to switch my bias and move on to long positions. If I was to look just at volume here, right, you can see that basically on the higher time frames, you can see this green rectangle that I've got here is just highlighting this volume cluster here, right? So we've kind of tried to get acceptance above, right? And we tapped it right on the edge of this volume cluster here, right? Right on the edge of that, and we got rejected. Okay, so again, there's a weekly level just above that at 31,700. This is around about 31,200, but you know, so there's a little bit of movement there. But if we get acceptance above here, for me, that is definitely a long signal, and I'll be targeting at least the current year's VWAP and this low volume node eventually, around about 42k. All right, so that's the game plan. Like I said, I've told you guys this game plan already time and time again, so you should know already what I'm looking for. However, continuous rejection of this level, that means that we've got hardly any volume here up until kind of like we've got a low volume node there. Let me just delete that. So we've got a low volume node here. We've got a great big area of no volume as well. Let me just like there. Okay, so it's basically this low volume node there, right? So adjust it slightly like that. Okay. And I mean, just the whole fucking thing is just a nightmare, because there's below us, there's really not a lot of volume, which means that it's anyone's guess where we're going to find support. Okay, you could argue that it's on the high volume nodes, you could argue that it's on the low volume nodes, particularly this one here. That's exactly where we bounced, right? So it has perfect confluence with this low volume node, but really nobody really knows, because with enough momentum and enough panic, this could go all the way at least to 19,000, which is basically the value area high of the 2020 VWAP close, and it also has confluence with the beginning of the volume distributions, right? So 20k is what we're looking at. There's not really much else to be said there. So this is either going to be the mother of all shorts or the mother of all longs, right? And I mean, when I say the mother of all longs, I would position yourself carefully, because just before I say the rest, position yourself carefully, because there is plenty of resistance above. Okay, we've got monthly levels, we've got the value area, the developing value area low of the yearly VWAP at around about 35k, right? We've also got weekly levels above, right? We've got another one at 37,700, which is the value area low of the 2021 VWAP. Okay, so it's not just going to go like straight up to 45k. That's not how it works. Okay, it could probably do something like this. This is the bullish case scenario. Come up here, dump a little bit, right, and then rotate sideways until everybody loses interest. Maybe raid the lows again, come all the way back into the range, go up, and then fake out and come all the way back down. You know, this is not like an easy peasy. I'm just trying to give you a sort of an overlook of what potentially could happen. Either way, this is what I'm interested in. This is a high volume cluster, and when we enter a balance area like this, usually we tend to firm up balance by going to both sides of the balance. Okay, so my bullish theory, if we get acceptance above here, then I'm definitely long, and I'll be targeting 42k, right, or at least 40k here, where the yearly VWAP is. I'll be taking profit along the way, and I'll be managing my risk very, very carefully. And what I mean by that is because we're kind of in an optimum position for a long, okay? But with the current climate in traditional finance, with the housing market starting to show its cracks, with the Fed in the United States raising interest rates and quantitative tightening, which is basically like just selling off all the junk that they've been buying by printing money and buying shit to prop up the stock market. They're kind of getting rid of all of that to try and tackle inflation. And, you know, and the consumer prices, I mean, everything, fuel, food, everything is going up. So with war in Europe as well, with Russia and Ukraine and this fucking crisis that never ends, you know, this is really a sketchy time. So there's arguments for both sides. Okay, yes, this is definitely an area where I'd like to buy the dip, But at the same time, this could be the mother of all shorts, because with the current climate, we could very easily come all the way to 20k. So what the fuck do? I reduce size. And so I don't trade with full size. I reduce my risk accordingly. And I will only take the long trade if there is confirmation of acceptance above this high volume cluster. That's what I'm doing. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your fucking money or whatever. But this is what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. We're kind of in an inflection point here, okay? This is like, you know, you could argue that this is support, right? We're support until we go below this low volume area, all right? So, you know, we bounced here many times, we bounced there many times. How many times can it fucking hold support? It's difficult to say, right? So again, this is an optimum place to go long, all right? Generally, this area here, generally, because we're at the lows. Just like up here was an optimum place to go short and to exit your positions. However, because of the current climate in traditional finance and the close correlation with Bitcoin, this could also turn very, very ugly very quickly. Okay, so hence why I say that I'd much rather lose a few percentage points in opportunity instead of buying the lows. I'd much rather get above and buy it a little bit more expensive, but being safe in the knowledge that we've kind of got acceptance inside of this high volume cluster and that the bottom of it is now support. Okay, for me that's managing risk. And again, like I said, I'm reducing size. I'm not trading with full size. I'm trading with much smaller bag. Okay, because my priority and my priority really is protecting capital. So, you know, you can say that it's like, well, this is neither here nor there. It could go up, it can go down. That's right. We trade level to level. For me, I'm not interested in sort of predicting what the price is going to do. I haven't got a fucking crystal ball. That's not what I do. But I can give you the levels to trade and to know what to do when we get to those levels. Okay. So again, even if we break above, this is the 4-hour chart now. Okay. This is the 4-hour chart with a monthly VWAP. All right. So even if we break above that 31,700, right? Let's say that we break above this. This is 31,700 here. We've still got the monthly VWAP above us. Okay, so that's why I'm looking really around about 32k. That's the edge of this little volume cluster here where we've been rotating sideways, and I want to see this here get taken out. And that's really, we're talking about 32,600. I'm happy to buy here at 31,700, right? But if we get to this level here at the monthly VWAP around about 33k and we fail and we start going down, right, then I'll be looking at this level again at 31,700. If we fall out of this, this is like the sort of like the intraday plays, right? Let's say that we go all the way up here. It's looking bullish. Everybody starts piling in the longs, right? We get to this monthly VWAP and it retraces, right? This could be a support resistance flip and we could fucking rally from here. However, if we lose that level and we fall below that weekly level and outside of this balance area here, the edge of the high volume cluster, this is the edge of that rectangle that I've shown you on a daily chart, then this is the major signal for me for a short position. And I'll be exiting all my trades that are long, and I'll be definitely flipping short. And I'll do this quickly that you can say dollar cost averaging. Okay, and if we nuke here, we'll probably nuke to fucking Nukistan, because like I said, there's hardly any fucking volume below us. All right, so this is really like time to pay attention. So let me just sort of like take the daily chart. I'm going to put that weekly level on again so that you guys can have some reference points. Okay. Right, so just recap. There's that weekly level there, right? 31,700. Like I said, we're rotating here, we're ranging, right? So I trade level to level. At these lows, you want to buy and scalp, right? Especially because this is going up like this, there's going to be stops all the way down here, okay? So probably if the market's going to go up, I wouldn't be surprised to see this kind of tap the lows like this and then go back up again. All right, so let's say that this is the high. In fact, let me just delete all this shit. Let's put a range in there. Okay, let's say that that's the range. If it's going to go up, this is most likely going to go down here first, grab some liquidity below, and if it gets acceptance above, that's a long position. But this is, I'm talking scalp with leverage, okay? I'm talking little scalps with a tiny portion of my bags, right? Acceptance above here, then I'll enter some bigger spot positions, but nowhere near my full size, okay? I will be very cautious here because again, we've still got that monthly VWAP there, all right? Acceptance back below here is, like I said, the signal for a short. However, if we just tap the previous range high and then rally straight back up above this weekly level, that's an entry for a long, and I'll be targeting it first around about 37,700, 35,000 is a level of interest for me because of this, at the edge of this high volume cluster and everything else. But you'll be targeting, like I said, 41, 42K is ultimately the level, but you know, it starts by level, right? This level here, and so on. So that's kind of what I'm looking for the bullish case scenario. For the bearish case scenario, like I said, it'll fucking nuke to Nukistan. This could go all the way up here, right? If it falls back inside of the range, that's a short. It will go past this. Eventually, it might even go up here and rotate down. And then once we're past that 26K level, then there's just no volume below us, okay? And it's just going to be a long drive all the way to 20K, in my personal opinion. So what do we do at intraday? If you join the group, you know what these guys are doing. They're basically just being really smart about it, trading with small size, and they're just range trading. They're just trading the fucking range. Down here, they're buying. Up here, they're selling. Okay? With also bearing in mind that they know full well that just above these highs, there's going to be stops, and just below these lows are going to be stops. So that liquidity can be grabbed, okay? So rather than just trading, selling here and putting your stop loss where everybody puts, why not put your entry here and put your stop loss above the invalidation, which is that monthly VWAP for a short, right? That's the invalidation of a short. And it's the same down here, right? Why buy here when you can just buy where everybody else put their stops, right? If you're thinking more of a swing trading type of position, buy down below at 28K, right, and put your stops below the below that, like really far away. Okay, that's managing your risk better. All right, so if a long position from here, targeting the top of the range, that gives you a 2-hour trade. However, if you move that up here and you reduce this and you put your stops there, okay, that's a 3-hour trade, right? If I was to move that there, put my stop below the previous low there, that's only a 2-hour trade. Okay, so that means there's twice as much reward as there is risk. But you can improve that by just moving your entries to where the stops are. Okay, so anyway, I don't want to be giving you too much sort of like showing you how to trade or whatever. This is supposed to be a TA analysis. But anyway, this is a range that we're trading in right now, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. At the moment, you'd do quite well of just scalping, because this could just go fucking sideways forevermore, right? And just do the crab market where everybody thinks, oh, it's too fucking choppy, I can't trade it. Yes, you can. You just spot where the buyers are stepping in, and you spot where the sellers are stepping in. That's all it takes. Once you've got that, then you basically can just trade the fucking range all day, right? So, in managing your risk properly by using the stop losses adequately, okay? Anyway, so what I'm seeing here on Bitcoin is neither here or there. We could pump. This is definitely like a great opportunity to go long, okay, without a shadow of a doubt. We are at the lows, okay, and this, if this plays out by going up, this is a really obvious trade, okay, and you'll probably feel very stupid that you missed out on it, okay. However, like I said, with the current climate, with the war and everything else, it's no shame. Am I going to try and guess? I don't give a fuck about being right. I'm not going to try and guess if it's going to go up or it's going to go down. I've got a plan. If we go above here, I go long. Okay, if we go below that, we go short. It's you know, I'll probably even go below here, below 27 or whatever. But I want to see really a failure of this level for me to go short. That's the short signal, right? Go above and then fall back below. For me, that's the short signal, and it won't be as high as that. It'll probably be just like a little swing failure pattern. It was like this, little wick, fall back down, and there we go. All right, so that's what I've got here on Bitcoin. I fear that I'm just giving you a little bit too much information, but so I'm not bullish and I'm not bearish. I'm trading the range, right? If you look here at the weekly VWAP of the 30-minute chart, you can see that we're just kind of rotating from the value area low to the value area high and above, right? Value area low, we got stopped here in the middle. Now we're below it, okay? Where could we go? We could go potentially to the previous week's value area low, which is way down here at 28K, 28,800, right? So we could potentially go down there. However, we've got a high volume cluster there, right? So this here should act as support. This here should act as resistance, okay? Resistance, resistance, support, and potentially support here as well. All right, this is kind of like the 101 of trading. Basically, you just identify the range and just trade that, okay? And you can sort of like go on the 1 minute time frame, 5 minute time frame, you're gonna get fucking chopped up. But if you look at it objectively, especially here on the 30-minute time frame, you can see that we've got a nice little range forming here, right? The highs and the lows. Highs, we're not quite reached the lows yet, so we might come all the way down here. Perfect confluence with that value area low of the previous week, right, at 28,700 or whatever. So just play it safe, right? One thing is for sure, we're below the weekly and daily VWAPs now, okay, and obviously the monthly, but we're below those VWAPs now, so I'm not interested in longs below that. I'm interested in longs above it, okay? So at the moment, a return to the mean means, for me anyway, means that I'd be more interested in shorting, right? So when this comes back here to the VWAPs, that's a short position. We're targeting lows. If we reclaim those VWAPs, then okay, we go long again, and then we got plenty of resistance above still, but at least we are long, right? So that's kind of like the many different ways that you can play this. I think I've kind of waffled on enough about Bitcoin. We can have a look at Exocharts in just a second. Like I said, 31,700, let's say 32K, just so that it's memorable. 32K is my line in the sand, and above that I'm long. If we tap it and fall below it again, then I'm gonna go short, okay? At the moment I'm flat, I'm just playing the range with the little scalps, and I'm not really interested in, I'm not interested in selling if this is support, but we are at kind of, this is support and resistance at the same time, right? It's a gray area here. So we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. And you can sort of like scale down onto the lower time frames to see that. Let's move on to Exocharts a minute. And we should start with perhaps the monthly volume profile. This is the monthly volume profile. You can see that we've got a naked point of control here at 48,800. That's way too far for us to be thinking about. You can see that you got 4 profiles here. This is basically a balance area that we've fallen out of, okay? So with impulse, we're trying to find balance below, and at the moment we're kind of just tethering on the edge of this previous balance here, right? Of this area here. You could argue that this is a little balance area, right? We're just tethering on the edge of that, all right? Break above it, and I think we've got a very good chance to go above. But if not, if we break below, we've got plenty of naked points of control, one at 19,000 and then many more below, okay? That's on the monthly. If we look at the weekly volume profile again, it does look like we want to reach down. We've taken the point of control and we're on our way down here, okay? You can see also from this composite of the volume profile that we're very much trying to get inside of this, right? So this high volume cluster here, right? We cannot get, we've tried, but we cannot get past it. So again, like I said, if we can, let me just make this a little bit smaller. If we can go above here, right, which is just below 32K, then I think we've got a very good chance to kind of rotate back inside of here, all right? But until then, this is resistance until proven otherwise, all right? So if we do go to the downside, this level here and all this liquidity here might get taken out, right? So and this is sitting at 22,700, and then another one at about 18,400, something like that. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing on the weekly volume profile. On the daily volume profile, let's have a look at this. A little bit more granular here. So we've taken the naked point of control above us. Okay, there was a naked point of control above here at 31,370. We've taken that now. Okay, we dumped straight from there. Couldn't find the strength to go above, right? Because the next point of control is around about 35k, 34,500. So we've left a naked point of control here at 27,500. Okay, so this could potentially be a really nice entry for a long position, all right? But we'll have to wait and see. If we go down here first, then potentially that's that sort of that play that I was telling you guys, where we do something like this, right? So that's the range there, right? Means that we go down here, take that liquidity, and then acceptance back inside the range again means that we go up, okay? And that's that long position, right? So let me just try and get this a little bit better. Okay, so range high, range low. If we go back to the lows here, take that liquidity, this naked point of control, right? And then a wick straight back up into the range means that this is a long, okay? However, if there's no wick back up into the range and this just kind of stalls here, right? Then it's continuation and we go down. All right, so it's not as difficult as you might think, but it does definitely look like we want to take this. 25,700 is the naked point of control that we're looking for. If we break above, then the next point of control is around about 34,500, like I said. Moving on to the market profile, and this is volume based now. I've changed this. You can see here very clearly, right, that even though we've been ranging sideways here, right, and I'm even going to change this and I'm going to put this as a delta per price. You can see that the great majority of apes here on Bybit we've been going sideways, right, with a little bit of ranging like this between these two prices, between 31,000 and 29,000, and the longs are getting overextended again. Okay, shorts have been dropping off, even though there's a little uptick at the moment, but the longs are, the great majority of people are long here. There's not enough capitulation. So I do think that we see perhaps some lower prices here. Okay, so that's the longs and the shorts covered. In terms of what you're seeing here on the profile, again, same shit as it always happens, right? At the bottom of the profiles, you see plenty of sells. Look at this. Plenty of selling, but everybody's short here, right? At the top of the profiles, plenty of buying. Then in terms of delta, look at this yesterday. Okay, everybody was bullish at the top. Now we're well all the way down here. Everybody's fucking bearish and selling. Okay, so these people are buying the top and selling at the bottom. And that's why I say when you trade a range, you want to be doing the opposite. You want to buy at the bottom and sell at the top. Okay, that's how we play it. Anyway, volume-based point of control is 28,600. The time-based point of control is around about 28,500. This is different tick size, so it's different from the volume profile that I showed you on the daily. Okay, so this is like 30-minute TPO. It's also a daily, but it differs slightly because of the tick size. Okay, I've got 40. If I was to change this to 45, perhaps. No, 45 is still around about 28,500. So this is definitely a level of interest. 28,500 for me, anyway. Okay. Resistance wise, we've got plenty above us, right? So we've got these single prints at around about $30,000, and we've also got some single prints at around about 31k. All right, break above that 31k, and we've still got an anchored VWAP from the all-time, not the all-time highs, from the previous swing high, which is all the way up here at 40k, right? So we've got that anchored VWAP from those highs that has not been tapped yet. It's not been tested, and that's sitting at around about 31,600, 31,800, something like that, this area here, right? So again, clear that and I'll be a lot more a little bit more happier on going long. Okay, but until we clear this shit here, I'm not interested. Okay, I'm still interested in a good entry for a short. Okay, but I need to see the signs for that. So that's what I see here on the market profile. Again, if we lose this level, 28,500, it doesn't bounce here, it doesn't get back inside of this range, then that could spell bad news, right? But we'll have to observe the price. Well, I might not get the perfect entry, okay? But I doubt very much that we're going to nuke to Nukistan without raiding the highs first, Okay, so just be careful, because even if we go all the way up here, doesn't mean I'm going to go long straight away. I want to watch for reactions. This is the optimal place to enter a short. Just like this one here is an optimal place to enter a long. I hope that is clear. I just want to make it very clear. Trade level to level. Do not obsess about, are we going to go up? Are we going to go down? Is it 20k? Is it 50k? Who gives a fuck? You just play level to level. Okay? So, on the monthly profiles, I remember I showed you this already. I'll show you on the volume. I showed you on the volume profile. I'll show you this here on the market profile as well. So this is basically divided into months, right? So this is the last 4 months of price action. We've just been rotational. Inside of there, this is the value area, this rectangle here. We've lost the value area low, and we're kind of like trying to find balance below, okay? However, until we break above this, there's not really any chance of fucking new all-time highs or a bull run or anything like that. We might see a relief bounce. Like I said, if we break above 32k and we do see that relief bounce, then this is the real fucking daddy here. 37,600, something like that, okay? This is the real daddy. Finding acceptance above here, right? So reclaiming this shit here, right? Resistance, reclaim this, then we've definitely got a chance to go all the way to 45k. But until then, and we've got a point of control here at 40k as well. So we'll have to wait and see, right, how far this relief bounce will take us, if we get the fucking relief bounce. I'm not convinced. I don't care if I'm wrong or right. I'd rather just wait for confirmations and just see what happens, okay? So that's basically what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. I think that's more than enough information, perhaps a little bit too much. So I'm going to move on to Ethereum. So Ethereum USD, we are looking here at the 3-day chart on the top left, and you can see that this is a yearly VWAP, and we've tapped the value area low. So we've long lost that value area low here on Bitcoin. Okay, that was way up here around about 37,700, which is curious enough considering what I've just told you regarding that monthly profile balance thing. But anyway, Ethereum's looking a lot stronger, and we bounced here, and at the moment we're just kind of struggling with this little bit of resistance here. Okay, so there's a little bit of resistance at around about $2,000. I showed you this already on the previous TA update on Monday. So let's just make this objective. I'm going to get you the balance areas, and again, these are all just based on volume, right? So even though you could argue that this is a full distribution here, a whole distribution, you can clearly see that there's like a double distribution inside it, right? One smaller than the other. For that reason, I've got 2 rectangles there. Let me just take these VWAPs off so that it doesn't get confusing. So the same scenario plays with Ethereum as it is playing with Bitcoin. Get acceptance above here, confirm it as support, and I think we've got a very good chance to going all the way to $2,800. There's a very good narrative as well. Well, it's not necessarily a narrative, but we got some news coming with Ethereum, right? This merge. The merge is supposed to be coming this summer, so I wouldn't be surprised that the hodlers are holding this very, very strong. And despite this sell-off, which was a bit of a panic because of that Terra debacle and that shenanigan with Terra and Luna and whatnot, there was this panic sell here. However, if the hodlers hold this shit and refusing to sell here, right, even if we see a little pullback on Bitcoin, it might not even be visible on the Ethereum chart. You can see here, this is previous support here. We've tapped it and we're still above it, right? So Ethereum, in my opinion, looking a lot stronger than Bitcoin, okay? The reason I've got this little mini range here, as you can see, right, is because there was a little bit of rotation going on there, like a little balance area, right? And this point of control has been acting as support, and it's been tapped quite a few times there, although that point of control might not have been there when these were being printed, but it's there now, right? So this could disrupt. However, what am I trying to say? Above here, we've got a strong chance to going all the way to $2,800. Acceptance below this level here, which is $2,000, okay? And failure to get above means almost certainly that we go to the other side of balance here, right? Like that. Something like this. Tap that, confirm that that is indeed resistance. Boom, all the way to the other side. The only thing that can disrupt that is this fucking point of control here at around about $1,800. So if you are in a short position, it's very clear that it's a short and you guys enter that short. Be careful with $1,800 because that is definitely a level to take profit because we could just fucking bounce there, right? So just be careful with that. However, like I said, ultimately the target would be around about here, $1,500, if we don't get that acceptance above, right? It does look like it got rejected there at that this low volume node here. It does look like we're trying to find acceptance below here. So if Bitcoin continues to dump and this continues to dump, then it's only natural that Ethereum's going to dump with it and perhaps test that area as resistance. This is not a time to go long. This is definitely a time to go short with the stops right about here somewhere, and boom, targeting the other side. Okay, the invalidation of that, of course, is acceptance above here and confirming that this low volume node is now support instead of resistance. All right, so I hope that's clear in terms of why I've got these rectangles and the balance area. In terms of the VWAPs on the shorter time frames, let's have a look here at what we've got in terms of confluence, right? So this here, I'm looking at the bottom right, okay? I'm looking at this 4-hour chart here with the monthly VWAP. So this here, this blue line that I've just highlighted is the value area low of the current month's VWAP. All right. It also has perfect confluence with the value area low of the developing weekly VWAP. Okay, or it's close enough anyway. Right. In terms of resistance, monthly VWAP. Let's have a look at where we are on that. I'm going to change the color to that to red, I suppose. Now you can see here on the bottom left that that's all the way up here, 2,300. Okay. So, and it lines up almost perfectly with the previous week's value area high. Not quite, but almost perfectly. Okay. That red line, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger now. If you can look on the top right hand corner, you can see that it also has really good confluence with the value area low of the quarterly VWAP. And almost perfect confluence with the value area low of the developing yearly VWAP. Alright, so you can see we got plenty of fucking resistance above us. So this is that low volume node that we can't get above from now. This is resistance for now. And, you know, depending on what Bitcoin does, if Bitcoin continues to dump, then we're not going to get a chance to test this resistance or to get above it. It's as simple as that. Bitcoin is the king and it will drag everything down with it. However, if Bitcoin does accept above that 32K, then you can start looking at all these levels. You can refer back to this video and you can start marking out these levels and know if you're long where to take profit. Okay, it's important not to get greedy and keep taking profit along the way. So on the smaller time frames, we're definitely kind of like approaching the no man's land here. Okay, we're at the developing value area low, sorry, of the previous week's value area low, which is also confluence here with the value area low of the monthly VWAP. And yeah, I mean, this is really the sort of the line in the sand, if you like, because we kind of like, if I put this bottom range on, you can see here it's a purple line, right? We've deviated there quite a few times now, right? So we could deviate here again, but we really want to be above this, okay, this void. We want to be above this price, around about $2,000. We don't want to be going all the way down here, right? If you look at this on the smaller time frames, you can see here as well that we've got a low volume area here, low volume node at round about 1976. It's a very good, a very easy way to remember that. 1976, 1975, something like that. So this low volume node is what I'm looking at the moment for range support. So the same thing applies, right, with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Very clear range. Okay, you can argue that this here is the range low. So down here you want to be buying. up there you want to be selling because that's resistance. Okay, and if this does just a crab for the next 3-4 weeks or whatever, it doesn't matter, you're still making money, right? So there's no excuses really. So there you are. So that's Ethereum versus USD. I hope that is clear. If you guys got any questions, please put it in the chat. I'll be happy to answer your questions and chat here on YouTube. I guess we could have a look at Exocharts as well. And the volume profile for Ethereum, we've got a naked point of control, just like we've got a 28,500 on Bitcoin. We've got one here at 1886. Remember, I told you to be careful with that 1800 level. There's confluence. There's also a naked point of control there, 1890, something like that, right? So just be careful that if price comes all the way down here, it doesn't mean we're going to Hades. This could definitely just bounce there, all right? The other naked point of control closest to us is around about 2,350. Okay, so again, we're not totally focused on that because we've got this shitty area here of low volume, which is causing resistance right now. Okay, but if we break below this and there's a lack of strength to get back inside the range again, then yeah, that's definitely going to carry on bleeding and we go down to 1,500. That's what I'm seeing on Ethereum. Not the sessions. Let's have a look at the daily market profile. We've got a volume point of control here at 1900, so 1880, something like that, same thing. So yeah, so we could come all the way down here. Let's have a look at the net longs and net shorts. Again, net longs getting overextended, the shorts are out, but even though there's an uptick at the moment, right, as the price, expanding the clusters so you guys can see better. Price is declining, so what happens is the shorts are increasing, right, and the longs are getting out. However, this whole range that we were at here, you know, we were sideways for a little while, and then the last couple of days it's just been an uptick in longs. Everybody's getting fucking bullish again, even though we're just ranging. So do we get any resolution? Well, we've got resistance above us. We've got a naked point of control down here. We could perhaps come down here, wreck all of these longs, and then move up. That's an idea, right? Markets like to punish the impatient, so this could definitely be happening on Ethereum. That's kind of it really on the market profile. Let's have a quick look, see if there's any poor highs, poor lows, anomalies and stuff like that. Reset that. So we got no excess there. We got some poor lows here as well at 1974. So that's definitely a target to the lows. 1974, I'd already highlighted that on the candlestick chart. And then of course we've got that $1,900, 1,880 type thing level that could potentially be a bounce area or a good entry for a long. But again, be targeting the bottom of this range, right? So let me just go over it again. Range highs, range lows. If the price comes all the way down here, right, it's a long position, but I'd definitely take profits here, right? Because here it could happen two things. We either get resistance and we shit ourselves, go back to fucking go down, go back to Hades, or if we reclaim this level and get back inside of the range, then again, you can, whatever profits you took off, you can put it back on, double down on your long, because we're going to the range high. That's how I play it. Okay, I hope that's clear. There's not really much else to be said in terms of TA for Ethereum. So I hope everybody's clear on that. We want to break above $2,000. If we cannot break above $2,000, then we've got that $1,800 level that we want to be cautious with, but failing that, we could go all the way down to 1,500. If we break above the bullish case scenario, like I said, 2,200 is first resistance. We've got 2,350, which is the next resistance, and then we've also got 2,500 and 2,800 as the next levels of resistance. Okay, so that's all I've got for Ethereum. Let's move on to Ethereum BTC. We start with the daily chart here. And again, I've showed you guys, this is that trend line that's been on since June. We kind of lost that trend line there with a high volume, so that's a convincing loss, right? So we've lost that, but we are being held here, like I said to you guys on Monday, by the developing value area low of the yearly VWAP. Okay, so what does that mean? This could either be the same as here. We got a nice little deviation and the price held on that deviation, and on the value area low of this VWAP, right? So this could potentially be a really good spot to be buying Ethereum. However, we've got a very important level of resistance above us here. That's the yearly VWAP, the current year's VWAP, and the value area high of the 2021 close. Okay, so with that trend line as well, that's fucking loads of confluence there for resistance. All right, so what does that mean? Yes, it's very strong resistance, but break above that and we're laughing, right? If we can break above that and confirm this as support, then, you know, then I think we've got a very good chance to rally. The reason for this capitulation candle here, right, we were holding this trend very, very well, is because of what happened, which is highly unusual, what happened with the Terra blockchain. Okay, you can confirm this was on the 10th of May. This was the panic that ensued afterwards with Tether depegging as well, and then the DeFi, all the repercussions of the decentralized finance world, right? The future of finance. So the repercussions of that is that everybody panic sold because they thought everything's going to fucking zero. So it kicked us all the way out below that trend line and below the yearly VWAP. But up until then, we'd been holding pretty well up here, right? Even though Bitcoin has been volatile, this was very good all the way from the 14th of March, right? Even though we've seen continuous selling on Bitcoin. So Ethereum could continue to outperform Bitcoin, and I think it will, actually, especially if we go up. If we go up, Ethereum will definitely outperform Bitcoin in the near future, and I'd rather have my bets on Ethereum than on Bitcoin, if I'm honest, okay? I'll probably have a small bag of both, but I think Ethereum will do very well indeed. And this would be just a deviation. Confirmation of this that this is just a deviation is a break above that. Up until then, this is resistance, okay? This is resistance until proven otherwise, okay? And even if we go all the way up here, we could just fucking nuke. So, this is only deviation when it's confirmed, and confirmation means that we have to come all the way up here and hold that as support, all right? So, the levels that you're looking at 70,500 sats is that level of resistance. Okay, break above that and hold it as support, and I think we've got a very good chance to going all the way up to 76, 81, and maybe even 85,000 sats. Okay, levels of support are already highlighted here. This one held. Okay, this held here very well. Let me just delete those brushes so that we know what we're talking about. Okay, low volume node as well, right? So this is held pretty good. But, you know, price could travel through that very, very quickly. If we lose that level, this is going to be the next level of support, and perhaps even this one. That's the 2021 VWAP. All right, so these are the levels of support, and if we lose those ones, you can see that there's hardly any fucking volume there. And it's going to be a long way all the way down here to 36,000 sats. But let's not think about that, because we've got at least 2 or 3 strong levels of support below us. But yeah, this area here is key right now. Can we break above it? If yes, then these levels will be taken out in due time. If we cannot break above that, and if we fail to, you know, go all the way up there but fail to reclaim that and it starts rolling over, then you know it's a short. And I don't think this will hold much longer because it's been tapped 3 or 4 times, right? So we'll be looking at these levels down here, right? Remember, Bitcoin is king. Right, so none of this technical analysis on Ethereum and all these altcoins will mean shit unless you're keeping an eye on Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up. Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down. It's just the way it is, right? On the lower time frames, there's not really much else to be said here. We are at the lows of Ethereum versus Bitcoin here, so I think Bitcoin's having a proper dump. Nothing really major, but yeah, it's dumping a little bit, right? But yeah, it looks like Ethereum is struggling a little bit here. But we're still kind of inside the range. Again, very much the same situation, doesn't matter what asset you do. Okay. Range there, right? We're at the lows. What do we do at these lows? We buy at these lows, we sell at those highs, right? Simple as that. Okay, and this is the chart I was looking at, just in case you're wondering. Okay, again, like I said, buy at the lows. This is what basically support is, where buyers have been stepping in, right? You take profit in the middle and you sell at the highs. Okay, look how close it is to that trend line as well, and the value area low of the monthly VWAP here on the 4-hour chart. Okay, so just bear that in mind. We've got plenty of resistance above. Don't play heroes. Don't think just because your long position is in profit that this is it. This is the one trade that's going to make you rich. Just don't think like that. Protect your capital at all times and always take profit. Okay, so anyway, with that in mind, let's move on to altcoins and DeFi. I've done enough here on Ethereum and Bitcoin, so let's move on to FODL versus USDT. And I'm going to start by deleting these little brush strokes. Okay, so it does look like we are losing this level of support here. Okay, in case you're wondering where I got these levels of support, I just pulled them out of my ass, and I'm just going with big round numbers because we're at all-time lows. There is no frame of reference, and this is not just for FODL, this is for many coins that are all-time lows here. So FODL versus USDT is at all-time lows. We got plenty of areas of resistance. However, the good thing about it is that if Bitcoin does rally, this is the only significant level of resistance that I'm looking for, because all this comes from a large liquid move. Very inefficient move, okay? Big, long candles like that. These tend to get retraced. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the real resistance way up here at 13 cents, 14 cents, something like that. Okay? So in the meantime, we're just still pushing lower, and it's just anyone's guess how low it's going to go, right? We got a big round number here, which I perhaps should highlight. 5 cents there. Okay, I'm going to put that as green. All right. So this one's 596, but it's supposed to be 6. Okay, so less than like that. Okay, so 5 cents, 6 cents, and this one's supposed to be 7, but it's at 6.99. There you go. All right, something like that, and just go with the big round numbers for support, because that's the only frame of reference you've got right now. Okay. In terms of, I think that is pretty much it on FODL versus USDT. Let's have a look at FODL versus USDC. Nothing much has changed, and I expect most of these coins are just going to be doing exactly the same thing. Okay, so basically this level here, like I said, 14 cents is definitely the area of resistance that I'm looking for. Getting acceptance above there means that we rotate back inside of this high volume cluster. Up until then, we've got a large and efficient move, taking level after level of support. Okay, we are at all-time lows. We're just going with big round numbers because we've got no frame of reference for price action. So it's anyone's guess how low it will go. Okay, and it's just the way it is. FODL versus ETH. But don't sleep on actually, let me just add something. Don't sleep on this. Like I said, these are large liquid moves, right? And large liquid moves get retraced. And if you don't believe me, just giving you an example here, right? Large liquid move here. What price retraced? What happens there? Price retraced it straight away, right? See that? Large liquid move, price retraced it. But wait, it retraced it with another large liquid move. What does the price do, even though it's rotating way down here? Look at that wick. It goes all the way up, and it takes that fair value gap, that inefficiency. The market is always looking for inefficiencies to correct them. Okay, there's liquidity there, right? So it grabbed that liquidity and boom, it dumped. Here we are. We've got another largely inefficient move. So if there's a turnaround in the markets, I wouldn't be surprised to see this very quickly take that out. And this is the real level of resistance that I'm looking for. Okay, this is the line in the sand here. Change this, and from 14 cents it'll go to 18 and 20 cents very quickly, I believe. All right, so that's all I'll say there on FODL versus USDC. Let's move on to FODL versus ETH, or FODL versus wrapped ETH. Delete those stroke marks. Very much the same thing. Large liquid move. Again, large liquid move. Price goes all the way back up and corrects it. This was a large liquid move, price goes up and corrects it. Okay, it happens time and time and time again. Large liquid moves here, the market did not go and correct it. Okay, this is, I'm not entirely sure why. This is such a big dump here. But this is, must have been in a launch or something. I don't know. But for the frame of reference on the daily chart here, you can see that these large liquid moves do get, as soon as there's liquidity in the books, that liquidity gets taken. So again, we are losing support levels here, one after the other. Okay, we're going with big round numbers here. The real level of resistance for me continues to be this one here. Okay, value area low of the developing year VWAP, and it's also the edge, or nearly the edge of this. It's a point of control basically of this whole range here. Right? So large volume cluster here, and this is near the point of control. So this here is real resistance until proven otherwise. Okay, so that's FODL versus ETH. Moving on to Binance versus USD. So we'll look if those ranges that I've been talking about have held up. Well, yes, but it's being tested again. Okay, so again, we're kind of inside of this range here, right? I could just grab a rectangle to make it easier, so you guys know what I'm talking about. We're inside of this range here. Okay, there's a line in the middle, because we could potentially, that was previous support there, we could potentially find some resistance there. Okay, so that's why I've highlighted here two little ranges, one inside the other. Okay, with that line in the middle there. All right, so overall you're paying, this is resistance, this is support, but there's a friction point right in the middle, and you should pay attention to that, even if it's just to take profits. Okay, buy at the lows, sell at the highs. So that's Binance BNB versus USD, $350 or $360 as resistance, and $289 or $290 as support. Note as well where the previous year VWAP is, right, and you can line that up, and it lines up perfectly with the current level of support here. Okay, that's the 2021 VWAP close. So, and that's around about $290. Moving on to Binance, so BNB versus BTC. I'm going to delete these brush marks. But you can see that that's exactly what we're doing. We're playing the range, right? So on that massive dump, it kind of like came all the way down here, but we found back acceptance inside of this range here a couple of days ago, right? So what's the market doing now? It's pumping. It found a little bit of a stalling thing here at the yearly VWAP, but it's well on its way to going to the top of the range, right? So when it gets to the next level of resistance, it's 10,500 sats. When it gets to 10,500 sats, it could do one of two things. It can either rotate, go back down here and rotate above, or even if it falls below, it could come all the way down here. So let's redraw that actually. I'm going to redraw it with the little arrows like I usually do. Okay, so we can either do from the top, come all the way back to the middle of the range, which is where the yearly VWAP is, or if we lose that one, we could come even lower, all the way to the bottom there. But either way, this is overall the big range, again, with that midline in the middle. Okay, so two ranges to play. We've definitely got above that yearly VWAP, so I think we've got a very good chance to go into the next level of resistance. Okay, so that's if the price turns around and starts rolling over here. However, if the price comes all the way up here and finds acceptance above the value area high, and finds acceptance inside of this volume cluster here, then this will now be support, and this here will be resistance. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, the real target is 10,580 sats, which is basically resistance here. All right, break above that, and I think we've got a very good chance to going up. However, probability says that we should probably just come back down again. All right, and not necessarily to the other side of the range. It could just stop here halfway through and just rotate inside of there. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so that's Binance versus BTC. Binance versus ETH. Wow, okay, so BNB is broken above. I'm going to put that as an orange line. In fact, I'm going to put it as a green line now. Okay, so we've definitely broken it above this range. So let me delete some of these squiggles. We've broken above this here. So naturally the next level of resistance, as there isn't much volume there, okay, as you see the tapering volume, right? Price will accelerate as the less volume there is, okay? So we could see a nice big candle like this, like that one there, right? That's what happens when the volume tapers off, okay? So we could see a nice big candle here to resistance. So right now, this is potentially the new range that is just formed. Okay, we fall back below this level, which was previous resistance, and we're going to be back inside of this range here. Okay, so we've got two ranges to play. So we've got 1676 here. Yeah, 1676 way. I'm sorry, now 0.1676. So what's that? 1676 way. Or I don't even know how you read the denominations in Ethereum, but you know what I'm saying, right? This is previous resistance has turned to support. This is the next level of resistance. If we break back below it, it won't be support anymore. It will turn to resistance, and this will be the next level of support. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'm not going to try and attempt. I might do a little question and ask the people in the group, how the fuck do you denominate fractions of Ethereum? Anyway, that's Binance versus ETH. Let's move on to AAVE versus USD. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So where are we? We are struggling to get above this level here. Okay, this is a previous consolidation in a high volume cluster there, right? So above us now is resistance. So this is resistance. Next level of support is way down here, but this could potentially be the halfway mark, could potentially be also a level of support, okay? Because it's a high volume node or a point of control, whatever you want to call it. A lot of volume was traded there. So at these highs, you want to be going short, correct? Break above this and that's invalidated, right? And you take a loss, take it on the chin and just move on. And then you know that the next range will be this one here. Break above that one, and this will be the next range here. The majority of the time, price is ranging. And usually what happens is you get impulse, range, impulse, range. That's usually the majority of the time as it happens, right? Impulse, range, impulse, impulse, liquidity move taken, large liquid move got taken up to the upside, okay? Impulse, range a little bit, took out that liquidity again, impulse, 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 took out that liquidity again, a large liquid moves there getting taken out. We've not seen any of these here get taken out yet, so we could potentially see that, but we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, for now, all I'm saying is that it looks to me as if we are about to be accepted inside of this range here, okay, with $87 as resistance, $53 as potential support, and then $16 or $20 as definite support. Okay, that's what I'm saying right now for AAVE versus USD, especially if Bitcoin decides to have a shit. AAVE versus BTC. Let's see if we can break above resistance. At the moment, it doesn't look like it wants to, right? Deleting all these scribbles. I don't need to explain that again. I think you guys know from my scribbles now where we are. Oh, hang on. I think I've deleted some levels there. All right. Okay. So this level here is very important resistance, even if we break above this one. Okay. This for now is holding as support. This box here is the 2020 VWAP close, and it does look like we found acceptance below that. Okay, so if this level fails, guess what? We're going to here, and if that level fails, then we're going to this one here, into the negatives. It's ridiculous, right? What the fuck's going on here? Alright, this was 0 here. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. Yeah, versus Bitcoin. I have never charted anything like that going into the negatives. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. Let's just keep focused, okay? For now, there's no point of predicting where it's going to go. Like I said, level to level. And for me, this level here is resistance. This level here is support. We rotate sideways until we break to either side. If we break to the downside, this level here is a level of interest for support. Okay? If we break to the upside, then the next level of resistance will be way up here, with potentially this yearly VWAP here as well. Okay? So that's what I'm seeing right now. At the moment, there's really no point in trying to predict where anything's going to go, because we don't even know where Bitcoin's going to go, right? If Bitcoin's already pumped, then I'd say that the rallies are imminent for altcoins. But basically, this is resistance, this is support for now, okay? Break above it, this is the next level of resistance. Break below it, this is the next level of support. That's all there is to it. AAVE versus ETH. I kind of have to stop myself from fucking waffling on and getting lost in explanations. Okay, again, same thing. We found resistance right on that value area low of the yearly VWAP. Okay, so this level here was supposed to be resistance. We rallied above it, so let's hope that that is now support. So I expect to see something like this. There's a low volume node above us, there's a low volume node below us, so we just kind of rotate sideways here, okay, between 420 and 452. Break above it, and I think we're going to go and test these levels here. Break below it, we're going to test these levels there. Compound versus USD. Okay, so that level did not hold. Okay, I put it in as yellow in the hope that it might be, it's not red resistance, it's not green support, it was yellow. We kind of completely ignored it. Okay, so in fact, I'm going to ignore this level here completely. I'm going to delete that. And I think overall you can agree that this here will be resistance and this here is support. In fact, I'm going to change my mind on that, and I'll explain why. This here is the real resistance, because it's got the value area low and its previous support. This is a large liquid move, even though it's already, the liquidity has been taken with that wick. However, this is the edge of a high volume cluster here. So this is the real level of resistance. Support, potentially this one. Okay, so we could be like rotating inside of here with that as a midpoint. Take profit or whatever. But that's what I'm seeing right now on compound versus USD. So support at $60, resistance potentially 80, but definitely at $100. Compound versus BTC. Same scenario. This is support, this is resistance, we're still rotating below it, okay? So we'll probably just rotate sideways like this. I hope that makes sense. Compound versus ETH, it'll be very much the same kind of scenario, right? Let me just delete these brush marks. Clear rejection here, so this is resistance. This is a clear rejection here, so this is support. So likelihood is that the market does this. Just go sideways there. BAT versus USD. Basic attention token versus USD. Interesting. So we have lost that level now. Okay, I'm going to put this as orange. But this was an important level that we've just lost. Okay, it's the value area low of the previous year VWAP. Okay, it's also the edge of a high volume cluster there. We've just lost that. So, in fact, I'm going to move it up anyway. Right about there. So let's leave these brush marks and see where we are now. Potentially, this could be resistance, but this is most definitely resistance. We've already been rejected there. This, we got rejected at this level here, is support. So potentially what we could be doing is this, with potential for a deviation to the upside. but this range here. Okay, so you want to be trading inside of there. Put the little arrows there, like that. Buy at the lows, sell at the highs. That's what I'm seeing here on BAT versus USD. So support at 31 cents, resistance at right about 50 cents. BAT versus BTC. Same scenario. Okay, we rejected at resistance, which has continued to go down. This is potential support, but this is the real level of support here. Okay, so this is resistance, this is support. If this level here holds, great. But if it doesn't, you know where it's going to go next. Okay, and potentially we're going to be doing something like this, rotating inside of those levels. That's BAT versus BTC. Let's move on to BAT versus ETH. Nothing really interesting. We're still approaching, we haven't even tapped support, so let me just delete all this crap again. Okay, so resistance, support, we rotate inside of there. What's going on with my mouse? But you get what I'm saying, right? So BAT versus ETH, this is resistance, this is support. Break to the upside, this is going to be the next resistance. Break to the downside, this will be the next support. Okay? I see what I'm doing wrong. I'm on the 3-day chart, that's why. That becomes a lot clearer, right? So resistance, support, we just rotate inside it. Okay. Moving on to Link versus USD. This should be interesting. Again, previous level of resistance there. I said that that could potentially be resistance as there were so many buyers there. So these guys, when the price comes back up, they want to get out of break even, so it's selling pressure. So for now, we just do what I said we were doing here. Not sure what this line is. I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to delete this one too. Support, resistance, and in fact this is resistance as well. So that's potentially why there was a line there. Okay. So overall we're inside of this range here. There's a low volume node here, which is where that dotted line is. And it's also where the previous level of support got broken and is tested now as resistance. So we could potentially just be doing this inside of there. All right, break above it, this is the next level of resistance here. And above that, this one. Break below this range, and this is the next level of support. Okay, moving on to Link versus BTC. Tested it perfectly. Look at that. So there's only two levels that matter there. Resistance and support. Okay? And everything in between is just noise. Comes down here, you don't be a buyer. Comes up here, you want to be a seller. The reason for that is, like, of course it can continue down just like it did here, right? But the invalidation of that is very, very close. So if you're buying here, targeting this, your stop loss doesn't have to be at the next level of support. It can be very close like this. So you minimize your risk. Okay, you allow for a little wick or whatever. It's still like a 4-hour trade. 4 times more reward than risk. Okay, so if you trade with the right size, this is a great trade. So anyway, that's what I'm trying to say, right? Just the same way as you can be short up here, targeting the next level of support, your invalidation, it's just above that. Okay, above this little consolidated to this little blue line here, this blue candle, right? The last positive candle. So That still gives you a 3-hour trade. 3 times more risk, more reward than risk. So great trade again. Okay, that's resistance, that's support. And if this just crabs and goes sideways for a couple of months, you can make money. Buy at the lows, sell at the highs. Link versus BTC. Link versus ETH. Drink of water. Interesting. So a couple of days ago I said that this could potentially be a line of support because we bounced there. Indeed we did. This one was orange because we didn't know if we were going to hold it as support. Well, we're testing it right now, so I'm going to leave it as orange. Potentially we've got strong resistance here because it's the value area low, right, of the current VWAP. However, if we hold this as support, this is the range that you want to be trading in. Okay, resistance, this is support. If we break back below again, this was just a deviation, and this level here is support, and we'll be trading inside of this range here between those two lines. Okay, doing something like that. All right. Uniswap versus USD. Finally, this was the trade that we've been waiting for quite some time. And if you guys want to look back at last week's TA updates, we were talking about this. There's timestamps. You guys can go and double check that. This is a typical play, right? So we entered this previous balance area. This is actually just adjust this slightly. Okay, tapering. See that? Tapering volume. Price tends to accelerate. So we entered the balance area. From the middle we bounced. We retested that previous level of support, confirmed that as resistance. I said this is a perfect entry for a short, and the first thing that you should be targeting is the midline, which is a low volume node, and the other side of the balance. Right? Well, that's exactly what happened. We tested the other side of the balance. We bounced there, and this is support, right? So now, do we go all the way up to resistance again? Potentially, yes. Okay, so at the moment we're definitely trading inside of this range, the lower edge of the range. Okay, this one here. If we break above that midline, then we'll be targeting inside, we'll be rotating inside of that one. Large liquid moves, these tend to get retraced. See that there and there? Okay, so just be cautious. However, invalidation is below this one. If we break below this, then we're going to this next level of support. These two levels of support, $3 and $2. Okay. Yeah, up until then we're just rotating sideways like this, potentially going all the way to the upper range. All right, we'll see what happens. This is the big range here, and it's divided in two, as you can see here with the little arrows. Okay, so that's Uni versus USD. We're still above $5, so $5 holding at support. The mid-range is $6 and the top is $8. Moving on to Uni versus BTC. Same scenario applies. Just delete those scribbles. This is previous resistance. This is important resistance because it's the value area low of the VWAP as well, right? So we could potentially hold this as support and just kind of rotate here, potentially even higher. Or if we lose this level, then we'll be rotating inside of this range here. Overall, this is the range, complete range, okay? You can see we've got weird 2 distributions there inside of that range, almost 3. So you just have to play it by ear. Alright, I hope that is clear. Finally onto Uni versus ETH. Potential strong level of resistance. In fact, it is a strong level of resistance. As you've seen, it got tested here so many times. Once, tried to get acceptance below, we couldn't. Okay, this failed to hold its support. It held for a couple of times. It's not been tested yet. But look at this line. Right, let me just delete those fucking lines. Try again. I'm going to delete the rectangle. Alright. Rejection of the value area low. Value area low now has confluence with the mid of this range. Okay, so potentially what we're going to see is this. Right, so we've got one big range, again divided into two portions. Okay, this one here I'm going to play particular importance to, as I think, because it's the value area low and we've got rejected that many times, that this is a very strong resistance. So I would be inclined to think that this lower distribution here is where we'll see the rotations going up and down. Okay, so I think that is it. Let's have a look at Bitcoin again and just see where we are. Still dumping, nothing new there. Not much in the way of change of dynamics. We've lost the value area low of the weekly VWAP. We're quickly approaching the value area low of the monthly VWAP here at 29,000. If we lose 29,000, we're looking at 28,500, which was where the naked point of control is. Okay, and which is very close to the value area low of the previous week's VWAP. Okay, so these are the levels that I'm looking for right now for a bounce here, and then we'll have to wait and see if we can reclaim back inside of this value area low of the monthly for a potential long to the weekly level there. Okay, I hope that was clear. I hope you guys enjoyed that and this helps you on your day-to-day trading. In the meantime, if you guys want to join the group for FODL, it's in the description. But if not, I will have another TA update for you guys on Friday. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.